to another video of the HTML CSS web development course. So in the last video we created a drop-down icon with some Unicode, and I explained to you guys how the media query works for screen, so for the display. And now we're gonna add some extra code. We're gonna create a drop-down menu. So as you can see, we have here the button. And when we make the screen bigger, the button disappears and there comes the URLs. So we're gonna change this. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna add some JavaScript. Pretty cool. So inside the body, so all the way down, we're gonna add a script tag. This is something new, we didn't work with this yet, and we're gonna open this. We work with JavaScript. JavaScript is a language that gives your website extra functionality. And normally you put this in an external JavaScript file, but in this case we are allowed to put it inside the. It doesn't really matter. Oh my god, my keyboard is not staying. Okay, so script. So first thing we're gonna do now, we're gonna add a function. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna call function called drop down menu. Gonna close up with parentheses. Okay, so in here we're gonna call var x. So var is a synonym for variable, and the way you can see it, var variable is a box, just a box. And each var, so each box has a value or contains information. This is a little bit the easy way how to explain it. In the future we're gonna expand this course also with the JavaScript part, and then you're gonna learn all about JavaScript as well. So we're gonna call var x. You can call variable everything you want, but x is easy. Equals document dot get element by ID. So what this does, it looks at the document and it gets an element by ID. So the ID, that is something we used in the past as well instead of a class. And we're gonna open parentheses and we're gonna call this drop down. Okay. So first thing we're gonna do now, we're gonna add this drop down ID. So we're gonna add this to the URL class. So outside the class, we're gonna call ID, and we're gonna call this drop down. Okay, so this is the ID that we are grabbing here with the JavaScript down here, drop down. And we're gonna close this with a semicolon. Under there, we're gonna use an if-else statement. So an if-else statement is something, it does one thing, so it checks if it is X, do this, else do that. That's a little bit what an if-else statement is. It's also really funny when you work with machine learning. A lot of AI these days from Google and everything, it's nothing else than if-else statements. This is just an inside joke we developers like to do. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna call if, we're gonna call parentheses, and inside the parentheses we're gonna write x dot class name is equal to, so 3 times the equal. Gonna add those. What was the name of the, okay, we call it navbar. So in there we're gonna call navbar. And we're gonna open this one up. And then we're gonna add x dot class name plus equals. gonna open parentheses, or we're gonna open some double points, and we're gonna call here space responsive. Okay, really quick. We added here, we added the plus because we're gonna add something to the drop down nav bar. So to the nav bar we're gonna add space responsive. And the reason why we add the space in here is because when we go up here, the responsive part is gonna add inside the class. And if you don't use a space, you're gonna get this. So navbar and responsive together, and that class doesn't exist in this case. So the browser doesn't know what to do with it. So don't forget the space, it's really, really important. Okay. Then we're gonna close this up with a semicolon as well. And down here, we're gonna call else x.class name equals navbar, semicolon. Okay, so to explain it one more time what we did here, we created a function called dropdown menu. We created a variable with the name x, and the variable contains a value of document get element by ID dropdown. The reason why we give this a variable is because it's easy to write the variable name instead of this whole sentence every time. Okay, pretty cool. And after that, we created the if else statement, and we close everything off, and the function is already as it looks here now. Pretty cool. Pause it. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna do something that we used in the past before, and that's the one click. So in the drop down icon, after the href, the one we are not using, we're gonna call one click equals, and we're gonna call here the drop down, how did we call it? Drop down menu, right? Let's check how we call the function. I'm gonna copy paste it. I'm gonna put it inside over there. So, and don't forget the parentheses. So this means that when the button is clicked, so when the browser registers a click from the mouse, it's gonna execute the drop down menu function. Pretty cool. Okay, so what we're gonna add now we're gonna add some extra CSS to our media query to activate the button, because if you save this, and let's go to the website, there's still nothing happening because it doesn't know what to display, right? So what we're gonna do, but after that we're gonna call navbar we're gonna call dot responsive. Okay. So the navbar dot responsive, we're gonna add in here position is relative. So we worked with positions before. We used them in, I think, section 2, and this is just to make sure that the position that the navbar is where it should be. Okay, because in this case we call navbar and we call the second class responsive, and the second class appears when the screen gets smaller. So under that we're gonna call .navbar dot responsive space li, and we're gonna call the a. So that is like, no, wait a second, the a we're gonna do later. So first li. So what we're gonna call in here, we're gonna call display of inline. So display of inline means that it's horizontal, and we're gonna give this a float of none. So the reason we give this a float of none is because we don't want the list item to float around, right? We just want it on one place only and nothing more. Okay, after that we're gonna add the function we wanted to add before, so that is navbar. This one is too much, we don't need that one. Navbar dot responsive li, and we're gonna call h, so this is the anchor tag. We're gonna add it, and what we're gonna add here is the display of block, and we're gonna give this a text align of left. Pretty cool. So what we did here now, we added some extra classes for the navbar responsive or the position of relative. We gave the list item inside the navbar.responsive display of inline and a float of none, and we called the navbar.responsive, then the list item, and then the anchor tag with a display of block and a text line of left. So this means it's really nice in the block, it's like really nice displayed, and it's all displayed on the left. Or the text line, I mean, pretty cool. So then let's check out if this works. Save it. Let's inspect the element. Let's check. Okay, navbar. ID of dropdown. Okay, I'm sure, did I write it correctly? No, that's why I forgot to, I didn't write the class correctly. And as I said before in the videos, this is how a programmer works, right? You make mistakes. I'm not gonna edit these ones out. Okay, maybe we need to call the parent as well. So we're gonna call ul, and here as well ul. Okay, we're gonna call, save this. Let's see what happens now. Ah, yeah, now it works. You saw that? Let's refresh the page. As you saw that, we added the UL. Apparently we had to add the parent, and when you click it, it disappears really quickly. This is not good. So now we're gonna use a JavaScript hack. When you look at the anchor tag, because we use the href, an anchor tag always needs a destination, and if there's no destination inside the href, it doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know where to go. So what we're going to call here, we're going to call JavaScript, double point, we're going to call void, parentheses, and inside here we're going to add 0, and we're going to close this up with semicolon. So let's save this, and we go back, refresh, and as you can see now, it's there. This is pretty cool. Now, when you push the button, it appears. Pretty cool. But this is still not what we want, right? Because the button here, this one, is floating there, and we don't want it there, because we still want it here on the top in the right, right? So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna add under this function, that's this one, we're gonna add one more, and that is the ul dot navbar dot responsive then we're going to call li dot dropdown icon. I'm going to open it up. We're going to give this a position of absolute. And the reason why we give this a position of absolute is that we make sure it stays on the same place. So we don't have to worry about it, it's going to float or that it's going to disappear. And we're going to give this a top of 0. And we're going to give this a right of 0 as well. So we're going to save this, save both files, go back to the browser, we're going to refresh. Now when we click it, now the button is there. It stays on the right. Looks pretty cool. We did a great job here. So this is a little bit how we make a responsive navbar. I shall be honest with you, this is maybe the second time I did this. Not because I always use Angular or I use Bootstrap, and they have like amazing plugins for that. But I think we did a great job here. If you look at this, I mean, the navbar looks amazing. It stays in place, and we added our first JavaScript. So I hope you guys are really proud of yourself, because this is pretty cool what we are doing here. We are doing a great job. So, already 20 minutes. So this is the end of this video. In the next video we're gonna start with the second container. Gonna make it a little bit more responsive, and after that the third, fourth and fifth as well. So as I stated before, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoy recording it, and I hope you learned something. Let's go to the next video.